Okay, so think about this for a second.
Mm.
Building just one successful shop, right? Like a really popular bakery or maybe a great restaurant in a busy city.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge achievement in itself.
Totally. It takes so much focus, passion, really knowing your customers.
For sure.
But what if you zoomed way out? What if, instead of that one successful shop, your goal was, well, something much bigger?
Okay, like what?
Like building the entire city's core infrastructure. We're talking the actual roads, the power grid, the water system.
Ah, okay. The fundamental stuff underneath everything.
Yeah, the network, the layers that actually let every business and person operate.
Yeah.
That feels like a completely different level of ambition, right?
Absolutely. It really shifts the whole perspective. You go from being, a successful player in the system
Right.
to being the architect, the builder of the system itself. It's about creating that foundation where everyone else can build their thing. And that shift, that move from the single building to the underlying city infrastructure, that's really the core idea in the source material we're digging into today.
Mm-hmm.
We've been looking at a report from Samong Thailand Co., Ltd., that's Samong. It came out June 8, 2025.
Right. The title is Unlocking Digital Economy Potential, Investment Strategy and Competitive Advantage with Samong Ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the one.
And it really, really leans into that city building analogy you just brought up. It basically argues that, individual digital businesses, the buildings, they're important.
Of course.
But the real bottleneck and maybe the biggest opportunity, especially in Thailand as they see it, it isn't just about building more apps or services.
It's about the foundations.
Exactly. It's about totally rethinking and constructing the digital city plan and the essential infrastructure that everything else relies on.
Okay. So our mission here in this deep dive is basically to unpack what this report is proposing. We want to understand this Samong ecosystem. What is it? They call it a smart infrastructure for Thailand's digital future. So we'll break down the pieces, the strategy, but only based on what's in this report.
Yeah, sticking just to the source.
Yeah.
No outside takes, just their argument.
Right.
And their argument really kicks off by diagnosing what they see as a problem in the current digital scene. They paint this picture. It sounds a bit like, well, an unplanned city.
Okay, unplanned how? What's the specific issue they're highlighting?
Well, they describe the Thai digital market now as really fragmented, inefficient, because in their view, pretty much every major digital business has to basically build its own infrastructure stack from scratch.
You mean like every new shop owner literally having to pave their own bit of road?
Yeah.
And build their own little power generator, run their own pipes just to open up?
That's the analogy, exactly.
Yeah.
They argue that digital businesses now often pour huge amounts of money and effort into their own back-end systems, their own data management, their own network stuff, security protocols.
Yeah.
Things that are essentially, utilities.
Huh. So there's massive duplication going on.
That's their point. Huge duplication across the market, wasted resources because loads of companies are building similar foundational pieces, and just overall inefficiency. It slows things down, bumps up costs for everyone.
So instead of just focusing on their unique thing, their shop, they're bogged down building the digital plumbing and the power grid first.
Precisely. And the report calls this a fundamental market gap. This sort of chaotic, build-it-yourself digital environment. It creates a really clear opening, they argue, for someone to step in.
To provide that shared, central, efficient infrastructure.
Yes, that everyone can then just plug into and use.
And Samong is saying in this report that their Samong ecosystem is designed to be that central provider.
That's the core claim. They're not positioning Samong ecosystem as just, another app on the internet. They're framing it as all new fundamental layer of digital infrastructure. The ground level that other apps and businesses will be built on. They want to be the digital landlord and the utility company, providing the stable ground and essential services for this digital city.
Okay, that's a bold vision. So what are the main goals? What's this digital city actually supposed to do, according to the report?
They lay out three main goals. First, lay the foundation.
Okay.
That means creating a really stable, robust, trustworthy digital network and platform, something businesses and developers can build on without worrying about the ground collapsing underneath them.
Like preparing the land, making sure it's solid before construction starts. Got it. Foundational stability. What's number 2?
Second goal is to connect everything.
Connect everything.
This is about integrating all sorts of different services and data sources across the whole ecosystem. The report talks about it like building a massive, comprehensive network of digital roads, highways, maybe even public transport.
Ah, connecting all the different digital buildings and districts.
Exactly. So information and services can flow smoothly between them. Seamless interaction.
Okay, stability, then connectivity. What's the third goal?
Third is to open creative space. This is where they talk about providing the land, the platform access, and the tools, like development kits and data.
For the innovators.
Right. For the entrepreneurs and developers, it's about giving them these sort of ready-to-build-on plots and the best construction gear so they can bring their ideas to life fast and efficiently.
So lay the groundwork, connect it all up, and then give people the space and tools to build cool stuff on top.
That's the gist. Stability, connectivity, and enabling creation. Pretty fundamental for any thriving city, physical or digital.
Yeah, that city analogy is working hard in this report. Okay, let's look under the hood then. Let's open up their blueprint. What are the actual components they're talking about that make up this digital city infrastructure? What's the first big piece?
Okay, the first major component they detail is the ISTE Agentic Application Platform. That's ISTEE.
ISTE. Okay, Agentic Application Platform. And the report calls this the Automation and IoT Network.
That's right, the Automation and IoT Network for their digital city.
Right, ISTE. Let's try and unpack that a bit beyond the city metaphor. What does that actually mean in tech terms, based on what the report says?
Okay, so if you think about the city having, like, smart traffic lights, automated energy grids, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the background intelligence.
Right. The ISD platform seems to be the digital engine making that happen. The IoT network part suggests it's built to connect and pull in data from all sorts of digital sources, user actions, transaction data, maybe even physical sensors down the line, other apps.
So it's gathering data from everywhere within the ecosystem.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And the agentic application platform part that implies it's not just passively collecting data, it's using that data to power applications that can act or react, maybe automatically or semi-automatically.
Ah, so it's not just a network, it's an active, maybe intelligent layer.
Exactly. That word agentic strongly suggests they're using software agents, maybe AI, maybe machine learning, to carry out tasks or make decisions based on the data and rules they set up.
Okay.
This is what allows the infrastructure itself to be smart. Automating processes, maybe optimizing how resources are used in the ecosystem, making things run better without needing a human to manually tweak everything all the time.
So it's the system working behind the scenes, keeping the digital city running smoothly and efficiently.
That's the idea presented, the core intelligence layer.
Okay, so ISD is that smart automated engine. What's the next major component in their plan?
Next up is the Samong Super App. And this one's described as the central citizen app.
Right, the main gateway for everyone who lives in this digital city.
Pretty much. Just like in a real city, you might have a main portal or app to pay bills, get transport info, connect with local services. The report positions the Samong Super App as that single, unified interface for users. It's meant to be the main place citizens, the users, go to access all the different digital services running within this Samong ecosystem.
And what kind of services are we talking about? Does the report give examples?
It suggests a whole range, from like essential stuff, paying bills, managing your digital identity, maybe government interactions, all the way to commercial things like shopping from businesses on the platform, accessing entertainment, basically any online service that's built on or plugged into the Samong infrastructure.
So it pulls together potentially lots of different digital experiences into one app.
That's the goal they outline, consolidation and convenience for the user.
Okay, so if ISD is the hidden intelligence, the super app is the main dashboard for the residents. What else is key to this infrastructure?
Then they talk about the Samong Sandbox. The analogy here is an urban planning lab.
An urban planning lab. But for digital stuff, what does that actually look like, according to the report?
So remember that third goal? Open creative space.
Yeah, enabling creation.
This ties into that. The idea is to give innovators a safe place to play. The report sees developers as architects and entrepreneurs as project investors.
Yeah.
And they need somewhere to experiment without messing up the live digital city, right?
Or spending a fortune to find out an idea doesn't work.
Exactly. So the sandbox is presented as that controlled environment. It's a virtual space where they can simulate and test out new apps, new business models, integrations with the ecosystem.
Ah, so instead of actually building a massive new feature live on the platform and hoping for the best,
right,
you build a model of it in the sandbox first, see how it works, kick the tires.
Precisely. The report really highlights this. It lets developers and businesses iterate faster, check if their ideas are viable, make sure they work properly with the Samong infrastructure, find bugs, all in a low-risk, low-cost way.
Simulating the building before you commit to the real construction.
That's the concept. It makes it much easier and less scary to try new things.
Yeah, that definitely lowers the barrier to entry. And the report flags that reduction in risk and cost as a big plus.
Yes, absolutely. It's positioned as a key feature to get more innovation happening, encourage more people and businesses to build things within their ecosystem.
Okay, so we've got ICE-D as the smart automation and connection layer, Samong Super App as the main user front door, and Samong Sandbox as the safe lab for building new things. How does the report tie these all together to describe the whole Samong ecosystem?
Well, like we said at the start, the report calls the whole thing the entire smart city. It's not just a toolbox, it's the integrated environment itself.
The whole picture.
Yeah, it's where all these digital infrastructures, the networks, the data flows powered by ICE-D, the user access to the super app, the development tools tested in the sandbox are all designed to link up and work together seamlessly.
Creating this sort of dynamic, growing digital urban space built for efficiency and innovation.
That's the vision painted in the report. A holistic ecosystem where, because the underlying infrastructure is planned and integrated and smart, the whole thing becomes more valuable than just the sum of its parts. It enables, hopefully, exponential growth for everyone involved.
Okay, this whole comprehensive vision, it leads straight into the strategic pitch they make in the report, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
They're basically making a case for different groups, investors, entrepreneurs, big companies, developers to get involved now. Why should they jump in, according to Samong?
Yeah, they definitely tailor the pitch. But the core message is always about the benefits of being part of this foundational digital city, rather than trying to go it alone or build your own separate thing.
Okay, let's break that down. First up, the investors, the folks with the capital needed to actually build this digital city. What's the hook for them?
For investors, the report frames it as this really unique chance. They call it investing in the digital infrastructure concession for the future economy.
A concession, like for a toll road or a utility?
Kinda, yeah. And they contrast it directly with what they see as the higher risk of backing just one specific digital business, one shop. You know, that shop might boon or it might bust, depending on trends or competition.
Right.
Investing in the Samong ecosystem, they argue, is different. It's like investing in the actual land and public utilities in a prime spot in this coming digital economy.
So your investment isn't just tied to one business succeeding, but to the overall health and activity of the entire digital city built on top.
Exactly. The argument is that the value of this core infrastructure naturally grows as more businesses set up shop on the platform and as more citizens users start using the super app and engaging with the ecosystem. It's pitched as a more stable, long-term, foundational kind of investment.
Okay, that's a clear angle. What about the entrepreneurs, the people with the new ideas, the ones who want to build the next big thing? What's the pitch to them?
The report basically tells entrepreneurs, look, we're giving you prime real estate with the water and electricity already hooked up.
Meaning the platform is ready to go.
Right. The Samong ecosystem provides that robust pre-built foundation. The pitch is, you don't need to waste your precious time, money, and brainpower building all that basic digital infrastructure yourself. Samong handles that.
So they get to skip the really hard, expensive foundational part and just focus on their actual business idea.
That's the message. Your job, the report says, is to use this ready-made infrastructure and your own imagination to build the most outstanding building or the most innovative business possible on this prime digital location. Focus on your unique value, your product, your users, because the underlying utilities are sorted.
Faster to market, lower upfront costs for them. Makes sense. What about executives, leaders of existing, maybe bigger companies?
For them, the report suggests it's about rapid digital expansion and reach. They can open branches really quickly within this established digital city.
Open branches?
Yeah, by integrating their services with or building applications on the Samong ecosystem. Doing that gives them almost instant access to this large, growing population of users who are already in the ecosystem, using the super app, using other services there.
Wow. Okay, access to a ready-made user base is a huge potential win.
Definitely. And there's more. The report also argues that these execs can use the city's smart systems, like the automation from ICE-D we talked about, to make their own operations much more efficient. Streamline things, maybe cut operating costs because they're using shared, optimized infrastructure instead of running everything themselves in parallel.
So for the big players, market access plus efficiency gains. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, last group. The developers. The visual architects and engineers who will actually be building on this platform, what's in it for them?
The report really positions developers as crucial partners. They're the architects and engineers needed to make the city vibrant and growing.
So they need to keep them happy.
Right. And the pitch is that the Samong ecosystem gives them really solid, well-documented resources. The report uses terms like best blueprints, APIs, tools, SDKs, and documentation.
Giving them good building blocks and clear instructions.
Exactly. The idea is developers aren't starting from a blank slate. They get a comprehensive toolkit, a clear framework, so they can create more sophisticated buildings applications, features more reliably, and probably faster. It cuts down the friction in development and encourages more ambitious projects because the foundation is strong and standardized.
Okay, so this report paints a very compelling picture. It's consistent, uses that city analogy really effectively all the way through. And it clearly positions the Samong ecosystem not just as another player in the digital world, but as the foundational infrastructure itself, the smart city where they believe the future digital economy will happen.
Yeah, it does. It clearly explains how the pieces, ICE-D, the super app, the sandbox, are meant to work together as the core utilities, the public spaces, the development labs of this digital city, enabling automation, user interaction, safe innovation, the whole package.
And it's really a direct invitation, isn't it? Almost like a prospectus. It lays out specific benefits trying to persuade all these key groups, investors, entrepreneurs, executives, developers, that their best bet is to build within this specific digital landscape that Samong is proposing.
Definitely. It's a strategic push to get everyone aligned with their blueprint for Thailand's digital future.
It's making a strong case that working together on one shared foundation is better, more productive than everyone trying to do their own thing separately.
That's the core argument, framed within the context of unlocking the country's digital potential.
It really does make you think, though, about where things might be heading. If this model takes off, if digital infrastructure increasingly starts to look like physical city utilities, these essential services like power and roads, often managed centrally. Well, what does that imply for digital ownership? If Samong ecosystem or something like it becomes the main digital land, who really owns it? Who controls access? And what does that mean for everyone else who wants to build a shop or just live in these future digital spaces? It raises some pretty big questions about, I don't know, digital governance and access down the road, doesn't it?